So, with it being confirmed we are receiving more cars in Gran Turismo 7 through 2026, I thought I'd make another list of some cars I'd like to see added to Gran Turismo 7. Now, the last car request video I made where I actually spoke was 3 years ago, and like that video, I will be including more than just one car for most entries, as there's a lot more than just 10 cars I'd like to see added. Cars will also be both returning and new to this series as well. And of course, these are just my picks. Some of the cars you will agree with, and others you won't. But after how bad 2025's cars were, I think there's at least a few on this list that you'll like. And be sure to let me know which cars you would like to see added to Gran Turismo 7 down in the comments below. And while you're there, also subscribe as well, as we're closing in on 2,000 subscribers. Before we start, these cars are listed in no particular order, but number 10 is definitely my most requested, and if you know my channel, you probably can guess what that car is. So without further ado, let's get started! Yeah, no one's surprised. The Nissan R390 GT1 is one of my favourite race cars to have ever featured in the Gran Turismo series. Gran Turismo 3 was its shining time, probably due to being 100 kilograms lighter than it should be, but that allowed it to strike a rivalry with the Toyota GT1. A rivalry that would last up until the R390's final appearance in Gran Turismo 6. With cars and class being so closely balanced in Gran Turismo 7, if the R390 returns, we could see that old rivalry spark up again. I'm going to make a separate video just talking about the R390. Again. But I know I'm not alone in wanting to see it come back. As for other Group 2 cars, the Panos Esperante is another car I'd like to see come back as well. For some reason, it was a Group 3 equivalent car in all of its past appearances in the Gran Turismo games. So if it were to come back, it would feel like a completely different car. And as for a new GT1 car for Group 2, I would say the Porsche 911 GT1 is a car I'd like to see added. While we have the Strada version, the road-going variant, it's not the same. I'd like the actual race car. Plus, it's a Porsche, and Polyphony love their Porsches. But of all 3 GT1 cars mentioned, none of them can top the R390. I feel it's only natural to go from the Nissan R390 GT1 to the Pagani Zonda LM race car, and while this entry may just be the standard Zonda C12, trust me, if it ever were to be added, I would be making a Zonda race car build immediately. Now, the Zonda C12s carried Pagani's representation in Gran Turismo for almost 10 years, until the Zonda R was added in Gran Turismo 5 and then the Huayra in Gran Turismo 6. The C12 actually features in Pagani's brand in Brand Central, which the Aston Martin Valkyrie also did before it was added. So does this mean the C12 is coming? Well, it's been there for a good few years, so no, but I'm gonna stay hopeful. It isn't just the C12 that's featured, there are plenty of other cars featured in Brand Central's galleries and channels that aren't playable yet in Gran Turismo 7. The KTM X-Bow GT2 is also there, and I'd like to see it be added too, because another KTM would be a very interesting addition. The Mercedes 1 is such a cool looking car, and I've only ever encountered it in Forza games. Being the poster car for Forza Horizon 5, and the first car you drive, you get a small taste of how fun it is right at the start of the game. And owning one in Forza Horizon 5 was the main reason I kept playing. But while Forza is fun, I prefer Gran Turismo. So I'd like to see this cool sports car added to Gran Turismo 7 sometime in the future. GT300 is a car class that was represented very well in previous Gran Turismo games, even though there has been very limited events for them. But Gran Turismo 7 would definitely see GT300 have plenty of events. Now, with the car class, I'm not sure where GT300 would go. Group 4 is the most obvious, but I feel GT300 cars are too slow. They only have around 300 brake horsepower, whereas Group 4 cars have closer to 400. But I guess that's a Polyphony problem, not a me problem. Literally any of the GT300 cars featured in previous Gran Turismo games I would love to see added. The Ria Mamiya and ASL have been on the leaked car list, but I'd also like to see the Lexus Wedge Sport. But any GT300 car I'd be happy to see, so long as there are multiple added, and not just 1 or 2 representatives. It's all about variety. should really just make a separate video listing some of the new car brands I'd like to see added. But Koenigsegg is a Swedish brand like IKEA, and like IKEA, it is very popular. Just not with Gran Turismo. Koenigsegg cars have appeared in several other racing games, like Forza, Need for Speed, and Project Cars to name a few. But with Volvo and Polestar being added, Sweden is getting more representation in Gran Turismo 7. And I'm honestly not bothered about a particular Koenigsegg being added. The Regera would be nice, seeing as Need for Speed Payback was the first video on this channel, but the Jesko is one I use a lot in Forza Horizon and Project Cars. Noble is another car brand I'd like to see. Again, I like using the M600 in other racing games. I remember both the Noble M400 and M600 being tested on Top Gear. And speaking of Top Gear, Mosler is another brand I'd also like to see be represented in Gran Turismo 7. The first time I heard of Mosler was during the 24 Brit Car Hour race Top Gear raced in. Richard Hammond crashed into a Mosler. And again, in Forza I've liked using the MT900. And as none of these three brands have been in any Gran Turismo games before, including them would be a new car brand. New car brands are often very well received. No idea if these would be, but I'd be happy, so that's something. The Toyota Altezza was the very first car I ever drove in a Gran Turismo game. Mainly because if you just keep pressing the X button in Gran Turismo 3, you will end up driving the Altezza on Super Speedway. And that's how my dad set Gran Turismo 3 up for me for the very first time when I was a kid. Although you can just imagine my despair in Gran Turismo 4 when the Toyota Altezza was for Japan only and we got the Lexus Altezza instead. I don't really care if it's like the exact same car with just a different badge. It didn't feel that way to me. But if you are like me and like car customization, the Altezza has plenty of options. From the OG race modification to the two dream cars. So it's very versatile. And speaking of versatile, the Toyota Celica, Celica, the SS2, when it comes to customizing and tuning, this is a tuner's dream, or so it felt. And I know the GT4 is maybe more popular, but the SS2 was pretty popular as well, especially in Gran Turismo 4. If you thought we were going to get through this video without a mention of Lotus, well, you were wrong. Whatever the story may be, Lotus was supposed to be featured in Gran Turismo Sport when it was removed pre-launch. Lotus had featured from Gran Turismo 2 until Gran Turismo 6. And like I always say, Gran Turismo 7 will never feel complete without Lotus. And some Lotus cars have featured in the Datamine car list. Since 2017, Lotus has been under the Chinese brand Geely, and relations between Polyphony and China have opened? With fellow Geely-owned brand Volvo being added and the Chinese Xiaomi coming too, China is now very firmly rooted in Gran Turismo 7. So, the wait for Lotus is on. But while honestly at this point I'd take any Lotus, the Lotus I'd like to see added the most is actually the Elise GT1, which at this point, a GT1, very predictable of me. The Elise GT1 weirdly only featured in Gran Turismo 2, although I used it a lot in Forza Horizon 5. But had the Elise GT1 been in Gran Turismo 3, it would have been a perfect rival for the TVR Cerebra Speed 12, which I have been using a lot lately, and it is pure chaos to drive. I want more chaotic energy. No, I'd actually like for both of them to be drivable if they were added to Gran Turismo 7, since they really weren't before. To France now for the Peugeot 905, a race car that first featured in Gran Turismo 4 with a very slow gear change. Honestly, it was iconic. They did fix it going forward, but Gran Turismo 4 had a slew of high-end LM race cars. With Group C very well covered, the 905 may be a less important addition, but an addition I'd like to see added nonetheless. Alongside them and also Toyota. And this section is just going to be other 80s, 90s and early 2000s race cars. So, a speed round. We have the Audi R8 race car, the Bentley Speed 8 race car, the BMW V12 LMR race car, the Nissan R8 9C race car, the Toyota 7 race car, the Pescarolo Courage C60 Peugeot race car, the PlayStation Pescarolo C60 Jude race car, the Pescarolo C60 Hybrid Jude race car, the Audi R8 race car, Audi PlayStation Team Orica, and the Audi R10 TDI race car. There's probably more I've missed, but for now, some of those would be nice. And if you're after modern race cars for Group 1, well... there surely has to be a licensing restriction or some exclusivity rights surrounding the Ferrari 499P. Ferrari's return to Le Mans would seem like a celebration Gran Turismo 7 would want to include, but so far, no. Interestingly, the last and only Italian Group 1 equivalent race car was the Zonda race car all the way back in Gran Turismo 3, before it was nerfed to a Group 3 car for Gran Turismo 4. There's plenty of cool modern race cars out there, but with Italy not having anything past Group 3, if I had to pick just one, it would be the 499P. But as for some other modern race cars, I'll put them here as honourable mention. So enjoy some relaxing Gran Turismo music, and I'll see you back for number 1. Now, this is a very specific car to end with, but as a kid, I had a toy of the Maserati MC12, and I still have it back at my family home. I loved playing with it as a kid, and I had it win every race I did with all my other cars. And I guess since then, I've always wished that it would be added to a Gran Turismo game. We of course got the MC20 a few years ago, but the MC12 was where my heart is at. And with Maserati having a much larger presence in Gran Turismo 7 than really any other game, I would like to say never, but who knows? I feel ending with a car that is more sentimental to me is a good way to end this video. The MC12 may not be the best or quickest car out there, but to me it is one of my favourites. And so there we have it, 10 entries worth of cars I would like to see added to Gran Turismo 7, whether it be in 2026 or years to come. Or maybe games to come. Be sure to let me know which cars you'd like to see added to Gran Turismo 7 down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time!